So shalom, everybody. Today is a special day. We are 2 days from a special day in the Chabad calendar. It's called Yutes Kislev, which is Rosh Hashanah LaChasidus. That is when Hasidus Chabad started with the Alter Rebbe, Rav Shneur Zalman from Ladi, started spreading in a more worldwide fashion. So this lecture that we are having is basically coming to speak about how we should have a healthy lifestyle and to do prevention of disease. So there has to be healthy thinking. Okay, so when we come to talk, we always have only time to speak about what's wrong, you're not feeling well, so we focus on the what the patient usually leads me to. But that's why we're having these classes where we can talk about the healthy living. How do we prevent disease, okay? And how do we improve our thought process? So we're going to start by seeing a video, a 3-minute video of a psychologist who was by the Rebbe, and he learned an important lesson. So let me just share the screen. And after that, we'll resume sitting talking here.
Strength to be able to tell people like it is.
הצלחה רבה, ובשיעור הבא. ובשיעור ההמשך יעזור לו. הצלחה רבה, בשורות טובות.
תודה רבה.
Then I went again.
Well, he said that, spiritual dimension.
How precious and how
important in the world with a family. Everyone else was astonished.
Mordechai Reich is a clinical psychologist living in Efrat, Israel. In 1974, as a student in Yeshiva University, he had an audience with the Rebbe.
The first question was, I had been successful to some extent in chinuch with children, but yet I felt that I had the capability to be a therapist, a psychologist. And what did the Rebbe think about those two choices? What did he think would be appropriate for me? So at this point, the Rebbe began to talk with me, and he first said he thought chinuch, Jewish education, was the choice to make. And he said the following reasons. He said, first of all, a psychologist often deals with illness, emotional illness of some sort or other. And he invited me to think about the fact that, I would have the opportunity as a teacher, as a mechanech, to really be teaching children a healthy way of life. Torah is Eitz HaChaim, is the tree of life. And that it was much better to be involved in a profession where you were teaching a healthy way of life than dealing with illness and healing illness. So basically I could prevent the illness by teaching a healthy way of life. And the second thing that he pointed out was that as a teacher, if there were a child who was, God forbid, ill, I would be one of the first people to identify that in the classroom, and I'd be able to get the parents to react to that and get the child the help that he or she needed. This is now 40 years later. So I'm a psychologist. I teach on the side here and there, and I love teaching, but I chose to be a psychologist. I hope that I've been effective and helpful to my clients over the years, but I think I knew where the Rebbe was pointing me. There's no doubt in my mind that psychology is based on negative traits. It's based on an illness model. That's what clinical psychology is based on. Over the past decade and a half, the idea of positive psychology has come much more to the fore. And I think the Rebbe was saying, let's prevent the illness. Let's give kids a healthy start and keep them healthy. And if they do run into trouble, So you'll be one of the first to identify that and get them the help they need. So that's one of the reasons, as I look back, and it's almost 40 years later, the Rebbe was right on the money. He was just correct. And as I said, with that perspective, I wish I'd made a different choice. At no point in the 15 or 20 minutes that I had with the Rebbe did I feel that he was being overbearing or that he was lecturing me. He was trying to instruct me, but there was a smile. I mean, there was a serious demeanor as well, but there was a smile. He was just letting me know what the reality was. And that's an amazing koach, an amazing strength to be able to tell people like it is without making them feel uncomfortable, without making them feel criticized or chastised. I really appreciated that.
So, okay, so I want to go back to, okay. So here we are. We saw a very important message, and I'm going to just repeat the message. The message is that there is a healthy way of life for all of us, and we need to practice healthy living. What does healthy living mean? Healthy living for us means healthy thinking, okay? Our thought process needs to be healthy. This means that no trickery, no lie, no false, no kidding around, just being serious in a way that when we meet another person and we want to share with them our thought, are we just trying to make them raise a smile, which is also important, but are we here to raise their smile and make them think good about me, or am I here to change their perspective? Okay, so in my medical field, what I need to focus is that when people come to me, that I need to change their perspective. I need to. It doesn't mean that I'm higher than them, but to pull them higher, to bring them to a state where they get out of their box that we all have around ourselves, and to think out of the box and to break the box. And that healthy thinking comes through in our life of Torah, through Torah. Torah is the way of life, the way of thinking of Hashem. When we learn Torah, let's say we learn Dinei Mamonos, okay, regarding money, people who earn money, okay, how do they what should be the rule? What should be the outcome of a certain interaction between people regarding money? Okay, all these things are important, and it's not intuitive. We have to learn the halachas because they are not intuitive. This is about thinking. Okay, there is a book called Think Jewish, where it was written by Rabbi Zalman Posner, of how does the Lubavitcher Rebbe is teaching us to think properly, to think Jewish, to think godliness within the world, not to think the world and try to fit a little bit of godliness into it, but to think godliness within the world. Okay, then we have the aspect of our behavior, our character. Okay, we have our character, we have our personality, and we have different level of character, and we need to know that it's our duty to change our character. Okay, we learn in Hilchas Deos the laws of character. It's the second book, halachas after Hilchas Yesodei HaTorah. It's in the book of Mada, the second book of Rambam, and he speaks about that every person need to change their character. It is because we have to emulate Hashem. And character is a dynamic process that is all throughout our life. It isn't like knowledge. We can learn something, we can get a degree, and the knowledge we get will stay with us, hopefully, for the rest of our life. But character is not like knowledge. Character changes according to the environment that we are in. And this is a lifelong struggle, in a way, or lifelong opportunity. Yes. Yeah, 1 second. I'm sorry. 1 second. Give me a second. I have an emergency. 1 second.
Now you have your class.
I have a class. Okay. So, um, um, so the character and then the speech. So according to Kabbalah, according to Kabbalah, our mouth, which is written pe, hey, the mouth is the source of health, and it's actually the source of disease also. So whatever we put into our mouth, the food we put into our mouth is can affect us. That's why it's important to eat healthy. Okay, so food can, God forbid, cause illness. And the way, and also what comes out of our mouth, how we communicate, the way we speak, is also part of our health. And so it said that disease comes through the mouth, either what we put in or what we speak. So we have to speak good things. So we know that there are, as we spoke previously, different lectures, but it's always good to repeat it, that there are 5 different levels of speech, and then there is the 6th one, which is the silence. And when we talk about speech, we have the desirable speech, and that is when we speak about the virtues of, like what we're doing, the virtue of learning Torah, or learning any field, improving our brain, improving our character, and giving stories of tzaddikim, how they behave, role models, that they should be the ones to that we should emulate. Okay, we have to talmidei chachamim. We have to go with talmidei chachamim, and like if you want to have somebody in our generation, it's the Lubavitcher Rebbe, a talmid chacham, a person who working on himself to perfect himself in all levels and possibilities. And that's why we have videos of him, so we can see how he behaves in different situations, as well as the advice he gives. And this is a person that we want to emulate. Okay. Then we have a speech which is commanded, which is divrei Torah. We have to speak divrei Torah. These 2 kind of speech we have to increase and speak more. And then there is a speech that we should or to be silent. Okay, to be silent is better than speaking. Why? Because most of our speech is not desirable speech, okay, or is not Torah speech, especially because we are not rabbis in yeshiva and we don't only give shiurim classes, but so therefore our speech is not. So which speech is not desirable? Obviously, there is forbidden speech, which is lie, gossip, false testimony, etc. Then there is undesirable speech, which is like talking about things which are not important, politics, geography, history. Okay, I mean, even though it's interesting and you like to talk about what's going on in the world, it's not desirable. It's not so important for your personality, and then we have the speech, which is the mundane speech, which is the business, right? We have to all have to speak about business, about money, about exchanging things, buying things. All this kind of speech is not a necessarily life important words that are coming out of our mouth, but it's something we have to do, but we should minimize those. Okay, so we have those three aspects: intellect, character, and speech. Now I want to change topic and talk about a little bit about medicine and how it relates to spirituality. So in spirituality, we have the concept of what's called ratzo vashov, coming from our physical world and becoming more spiritual. It's called ratzo. We want to become spiritual, and shov means coming back from the spirituality into the physical world. Now, why do we have these two motions? And the spiritual world is really reflected into the physical world. So when we look at the physical world, we look at our body. We have our breath, our breathing. Okay, we take breath in and breath out, breath in and breath out. If Hashem wanted us to have oxygenation, he could have made us that we can oxygenate all the time without breathing. But Hashem wanted this to happen. There is two motions, which are opposites. One is putting air in, one is putting air out. Same thing is with the heart. We have systole and diastole. The heart has to contract to pump the blood out, and the heart has to relax and expand and fill up with blood. So then when it contracts, it can pull the blood out. So we have these two motions, which are opposites. Each one does opposite things. Why did Hashem create these opposites? To teach us that there are two aspects to our life. We have a spiritual aspect and a physical aspect, but they are both connected, and we have to have both. You cannot just have one. The heart cannot only be in systole. The heart cannot only be in diastole. As a matter of fact, I just met one of our thoracic surgeon, Dr. Pietro, and asked him, when person passes away, how does the heart? What is this start of the heart? Is the heart stops in diastole or the heart stops in systole? And he thought for a while and he said, I think it's in diastole. And I said, right, that's what it is. Diastole. That is the heart expands and just doesn't contract anymore. It explains in Hasidus that diastole, the heart expanding, filling up with blood, is ratzo, is coming back into spirituality. And when the heart contracts and pushes the blood forward into the body, is the shov, is the returning back into the world. And it explains why. The ratzo is the beginning of davening, Psuke de Zimra and Ishma, including Shema until Shmona Esrei. This is the ratzo. The heart expands as much as it can, fills with blood. This is the time where we are relaxing, focusing only on Hashem, and we say Tehillim, which speaks about the greatness of Hashem. And it says that in Shacharis, we actually compiling all the thoughts and all the actions we had in the previous day. So we think about all the thoughts, the good thoughts, what we learn, all the good things we learned and know about Hashem during davening. And this is the heart fills up the blood. And then comes the shuv. As we start Shemona Esrei, the heart starts contracting. And pushing the blood forward. What is that represents in the body? The perfusion of the blood to all the organs, okay? So the systole is the perfusion of the blood into the most distant parts in our body, our fingers, our legs, our toes, okay? And we have to make sure the blood gets to every single cell throughout our body. And this is Shmoneh Esrei. Shmoneh Esrei, we don't speak about Hashem's greatness. We ask Hashem to give us our physical needs. We ask for brain, intellect, we ask for parnasa, we ask for health, we ask all our physical needs. And this is the show. This is what we are trying to bring down into the world. This represents by making the blood flow into all the organs, into the feet, into the toes. The furthest cells needs to get nourished with the blood. And that is the show that we're asking Hashem to help us in all our physical life. But they are connected, because why do we want to have a physical life? Because it says, Nis'ava Kadosh Baruch Hu la'asos lo yizbarech dira b'tachtonim. Hashem wanted to create a dwelling place down in this physical world. And the only way he can accomplish it is through us, throughout Yidden. And so when we in the Ratzo go and want to connect to Hashem and want to be spiritual, then we understand that Hashem tells us, be spiritual, but that's not the ultimate purpose. The ultimate purpose is to take that spirituality and bring it down into the world, into a shuv. You have to come and do it through learning the Torah, doing the mitzvahs, occupying your brain, and occupying your character and speech, how you should behave in a godly way. And this is the class we have for today. If anybody has any comments, you're welcome.
The Rebbe said, think good, it'll be good.
Right. Right. So in that way, I just want to say something. The Rebbe meant to say that your thinking good will have a positive influence on the world. And that's why it will be good. It isn't just like a jargon, think good, it will be good. The Rebbe meant, and he said it, like what I'm just telling you. I mean by that, if you'll think good, your positive thinking will influence the physical world, that it will turn into good. Right? That's what you meant.
Yes, and I heard a psychologist last week say I have happy days because when I wake up, I say today will be a good day. And when he says today will be a good day, it turns out to be a good day.
That's right.
I am different. I wake up in the morning and I say to my wife, I'm sorry. So I'm set for the whole day.
So you should say it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day. Okay, regards. Good Shabbos. And should be, it says the blessing we say to each other before you to kiss it. It said, L'shana tova, belimud ha'chasidus, v'darkei ha'chasidus, tekaselo v'sechasemu. Should be a good year. We should go in the way of Chasidus, which is Chasidus has all the healing in this world. Belimud ha'chasidus, v'darkei ha'chasidus, and the way, path of Chasidus, we should be written and sealed for a good year. All the best. Thank you.